certainty on who's going to be or who's been their starter throughout the year. We saw some of that last week. I mean, how do you manage that challenge with your group?
Well, in reference to running back or quarterback or both, right? So you got Orgy, obviously you got Davis Warren, and obviously you got Tuttle. So you got three different guys that are different in skill set. Two of them are very similar with Tuttle and obviously Orgy. Both can run and throw, but all three are accurate enough to do what they want to do offensively. So it's going to be a task because they can come out with any given package at any given time because they have the offensive line to protect that type of scheme, whether they want to go fast or keep the ball ground and pound inside. So like I said, again, we're excited about the opportunity to get out there and challenge these guys and really get our best to help the defense out.
What's the key for your group when maybe they're not a team that enjoys airing it out as much?
Yeah.
Keep those guys, I don't know if engaged is the right word, but dialed into a lot of runs if that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, definitely. Just trying to find a different way to motivate my guys. It may not be making so many great plays deep down the field in the air because that's not what their offense showcases, but we got to be aware of it because they may show that 1, 2, maybe 3 times, and we have to be there for that 1, 2, or that third time they do it. The other part of it is, as I discussed, we've got to do a good job at insulating the run from the outside in. Number 20 is a really good back, and he'll hit you inside, but he'll break away outside too, just along with number 7, Donovan Edwards. We've seen a lot of his long runs. That's got to be a part of our responsibility as a defensive backs room to really insulate that thing from the outside in and hinder those long runs by always showing opposite color, which means we've got to win versus the stalk blocking down the field that their receivers are really, really good at.
What you see with that kind of double move that Torrey got hit on? What you see when you went back and looked at that, and what were some of the moments out of that?
Just changing his feet. He tried to mix 2 techniques. He started with pedaling, and then he started scooching, and after that he got so uncomfortable that we broke downhill, and when he broke downhill, he broke towards where the ball was going to go and not where the receiver was at. And once that happened, now you're just chasing some things. So it was very, very easy to fix. It was more technical than it was his eyes. His eyes were in the right place. He got to the right place where he was supposed to go. It was just the timing of his footwork. He was moving so fast instead of moving at least at the same tempo of the receiver. So they tempoed us up and they sped it up, and we weren't ready to speed up when we were already breaking on the route. So I'm excited to see how he responds from that. And so far, the past couple of practices he's taken the coaching necessary, and he's watched that play more than anybody else in this building, right? And that's just how we try and coach the guys, being hypercritical of who they are and letting them know, hey, flush that down the toilet because we don't want it to corrode who you are as a player mentally.
Caleb was a guy like just talking to people around him, like kind of understands the big picture of things and just like maybe patient with the process. What have you observed from that regard with him? Maybe not even necessarily on the field, just his understanding of kind of the process of playing like this.
Yeah, just he's a process-driven guy. You know what I mean? He's a slower-moving guy as far as he's from Mississippi, so he's just, old-school country feel of he's not in a rush with anything. He's taking everything one day at a time, and as big moments come to him, he treats them all the same. And so you see him getting those pass breakups versus Purdue in critical moments, setting up the overthrow. You even saw him, speed up, obviously, and chase a guy down, which hindered them from scoring 7 points on a big play. They only scored 3. So it's moments like that you can see this kid is really taking this moment and he's living in it. And so the rest of the room is just absorbing that type of mentality because most DBs, everybody wants to be flash and this, that, and the other. That dude just does his job and he's dependable while he's doing it. So you see that process that he's going through, but you see it day to day. So it's nothing new for us.
The passing offense for Michigan, you look at the stats, you don't see a lot of yards, but it seems like they still have some weapons, right? Like Loveland and stuff. Like what are just kind of your thoughts about some of their playmakers after watching film?
Well, obviously, Loveland's a really, really good tight end, and we've seen like a good tight end every week for like the past 3 weeks right now. So we're pretty excited about another opportunity to get out there and help cover a guy like that. But we've also got to be aware of Samaj Morgan. Right, we've got to be aware of what he's capable of doing. Number 0 for Michigan, he's one of their most explosive receivers. But number 8 is really, really good. Number 12 is really, really good. They do a good job of recruiting good players that they obviously believe fit their offense offense, of being able to stalk block, of being able to run down the field versus DBs as well. So we've got to do a good job versus that core and do a good job of making sure they don't get explosive plays versus us and keep them inside and in front of us.
Those explosive plays like against Purdue, like the flea flicker and stuff, are those correctable issues, or do you think it was like a systematic issue? What did you see?
Definitely correctable issues. More technique than it is scheme, or more technique than it is person. It's all technique that we can really just focus in on. This is what actually happened. This is what we need to happen moving forward. And that's the best thing about the way that we go about coaching. That's the best thing that I look at coaching. Like, nobody's perfect. And no one's ever going to be perfect. You hold the line of excellence to be high. You have expectations to be high. And when they don't meet that dang on level of approval from you or from their parents, from their family, from themselves, then they're disappointed too. Right? And that's the best thing about it. They can grow because they're disappointed in their own behaviors. They know they're holding themselves accountable. So it's all technical stuff that you can look back at and say, let's watch this play again and let's go over and let's find out what happened. And then you see and you say, you never did this at practice before. Why did you do it in this particular rep? You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And whether it was we were up that many points and it was such a feel-good moment, or it was I'm going to rest on my laurels a little bit because I don't really think this guy's that good. Well, what do they find out? That guy is a really good player, and they do got good coaches. They're just in a down way, and that team found a way to try and make a move on us in that moment. So what do? Respond on the last play of the game, right? Respond. Because if we were doing what most people would say, living in the moment, oh, we're down on ourselves, we feel so bad because the game isn't going our way, we wouldn't have made that play at the end of the game to cover well. Rosiette comes free and gets a sack. We would have still been focused on what happened instead of what should happen, which is finishing the game the right way, the way Fighting Illini do on defense.
I know Brett said he expects Xavier back this week, but Tyson got some reps when Tyler got hurt. Like, what's his development been?
Oh, it's been great. I mean, obviously, he's got great ball skills. He's big, long, and fast dude, and it takes a lot of time to really, coach him through certain things, but other things he just takes naturally. So it's been fun coaching him every day. He's out there with me doing extra work after practice. Me, him, Jaheim Clark, and a bunch of guys. So you'll see him continuously to develop, and obviously, he's able to run out there and make some plays for us and spell us out for some time. So he's definitely getting better.
What's Tyson maybe taking to him naturally, making that move to?
Running with guys. He can run with just about anybody. That's not an issue. It's really just understanding how fast he should be moving and when he needs to maybe slow down a little bit and allow a receiver to get up inside of his cushion on shorter routes so he's not opening so fast and short routes are happening in front of him, like that flat route that happened in the game. He was moving so fast that it got open in the flat in front of him. He should have been slower a little bit so he can break downhill tighter to it, but end up making a tackle. But it's just those small things that it takes more of a veteran opportunity to, have that type of growth.
Is it hard to coach someone to play slower?
Yeah, it is, because they're naturally fast, right? And you don't want to ever tell a guy not to play fast because now they're going to get beat deep vertical, and that's what they're thinking too. So it's you want to teach them how to tempo themselves. So I don't say play slow. You got to tempo down your run and understand it's almost like a 400-meter runner, right? At times he has to get in a very big fast stride. At times he has to pick up his speed a little bit. So it's just teaching them how to use it and when to use that particular moment of speed it up, slow it down, tempo yourselves accordingly to how the receiver's moving.